everybody! So today I am going to finally film a video that I've been wanting, well, I was planning on filming from pretty much the time I found out I was pregnant, and I wanted to do like a first trimester sort of recap and sort of go over all the symptoms and how we found out and all that stuff while I still remember it. Although, if I'm being totally honest, what I really love to be doing right now is taking a nap, because that's what Adelaide's doing, and that's what I've been doing pretty much every day. When she's home taking a nap, I've been taking a nap too. I mean, almost since I first got pregnant, because, I mean, obviously everybody knows being tired is like one of the symptoms. In my second trimester now, which is supposed to be like when you get your energy back and stuff, and I wouldn't say that's happened for me yet at all, and it may not, again, because I've got a toddler. So I am 16 weeks pregnant now, so basically 4 months. A couple days away from 17 weeks. I want to tell y'all about kind of our plan for having our second child, like what we were hoping for as far as like scheduling and stuff, although that's really all me, not Jordan. How we found out, the symptoms, and then the gender reveal that we did. I have thought through this video like lots of times, but I feel like my thoughts are still really scrambled right now. So I'm going to try to like stay on track and not blabber on too much. I guess to start the whole story, I had kind of got the idea in my head that I might like to have a second child probably around the time when Adelaide was like 2 or so. Is probably when I started feeling like, yeah, it might be kind of nice. I think it'd be good for her. For the most part, I would say most of my reasons for wanting to have another kid were really based on Adelaide and kind of how I thought it might be good for her in her life to have a sibling and just to not be on her own. And she's just such a super social and like such a super social person, and just really loves other kids, that I felt like a sibling would be so amazing for her. And plus, if I'm being totally honest, I really enjoyed being pregnant the first time around a lot, and there was a little part of me that just like kind of felt heartbroken at the idea of never getting to experience that again. So that was a little bit of it too. So around the time when she was 2 was when I started thinking I might want to have another, but I knew that I wanted to wait until Adelaide was at least 3 before there was another child in the house with us. That was just kind of the age that I came up with that I thought might be really good. I felt like hopefully she would be old enough that she would kind of have some of her own stuff going on and kind of be established in her routines as far as like potty training and bed and all that sort of stuff before we had another kid to kind of come in and throw a wrench into things. But then I also thought it was a small enough gap that hopefully they would still have, you know, things in common and be close enough in age that they would still be close and could relate to each other. So my plan was I wanted her to be at least 3 before another kid was born. Adelaide's birthday, though, is end of September, like I already said. So that was pretty much going to put us right around the holidays, as far as like waiting until after she turned 3, which I absolutely didn't want. I feel like the holidays are so busy and so crazy, and there's already so much stuff going on that I just didn't want to add like one more thing to worry about during that time. I also just worried that maybe the holidays would overshadow a birthday, which I don't know if they do or not, but that was just kind of something I thought could be kind of a bummer for the kid. I also was kind of afraid of the idea of like having a birthday and buying gifts and giving everybody ideas for things that, you know, the kid was into for gift ideas, and then have to turn around for Christmas like right away and do it all over again. And then like all the fun is like squished in this little time of year, and you've got like the whole rest of the year when nothing else is going on. So I figured, well, Adelaide's birthday is already September, then we've got the holidays, so let's just get past all of that. Well, if we wait November, December, we might as well, you know, wait past January, February while it's winter and get into the spring, and maybe like as far as parties go, that would give us more options for being able to have things outside or whatever. So anyway, long story short, or though I guess not really long story short because I already told you the whole long story. All of that is to say that my goal was to have a due date of March, April, or May. That was just kind of the months that I thought would be ideal. And I know you can't always plan those things, but you can plan at least when you start. And so my plan was to start trying at the point where we would be at a March due date, and then kind of see where it went from there. So that put us at trying in June, and so that's what we did. And then at the end of June, on my mom's birthday, I was out to eat with her and my sister, and my mom turned to me and said, "Are you pregnant?" And I was wearing like this kind of slim fitting dress, and I was like, oh my gosh, no, like, does this dress look terrible on me or what? And that's not at all what she meant, of course. But she apparently had had a dream that I was pregnant and that we were having a girl. And apparently also she had had that, like, a similar dream of my sister was pregnant with her third, and my mom was right. And both times she had the dream before my sister or I actually knew we were pregnant. So I knew that we had been trying, but I didn't know that I was pregnant, and I didn't really assume that I would get pregnant the first month we started trying like I did with Adelaide. I figured it would probably take longer. It wouldn't be as easy. So I told her no. I mean, nobody knew that we were trying or anything. So I just said no and went on about it. Then the next week was when we were in Red River, New Mexico over the 4th of July for our camping trip. And it was on that trip that I started kind of wondering if maybe I could be pregnant. There were a couple days when I just kind of felt not great. At this point, I would have technically been pregnant, but like I said, it's before I knew. I would have only been like 3 weeks pregnant or something like that. So, but there were just a couple days when I just felt a little off. I just didn't feel great, and there really wasn't any good reason for it. And so that had me thinking, like, I wonder if I could be pregnant. And then there was a day when we went to a convenience store to get like Cokes to take back to the campsite, and like Cokes and snacks and stuff. And I just felt like I didn't want any part of a Coke, like a cola Coke, like Coke, Pepsi, Dr. Pepper. I just didn't want any part of any of that. And I usually, when I get a Coke, it's like a cola, not like a Sprite or orange soda or whatever. It's a Coke, like a cola Coke. And I just did not want it. I just felt like this huge aversion to like a brown Coke. That kind of had me wondering, like, why would I not want what I always drink? That's sort of weird. And then also shortly after that, I was craving hamburgers like crazy. And it wasn't just like a one-off sort of like, oh, hamburger sounds good. It was like, oh, a hamburger sounds good, eat one. Oh, the next day, a hamburger sounds good, eat one. And I was having this like really strong craving for hamburgers. So by the time we got back from that trip, I was thinking, like, this is really weird. Like, I wonder if I could be pregnant. Even if I am, like, could I already be experiencing symptoms like this early? That didn't seem right. But probably like a week after that was when I took the test, and it was positive, and I was pregnant. So I don't know if all that stuff was just a coincidence or if I was actually experiencing those symptoms like that early on. But I was pregnant. So I found out first thing in the morning. And I was trying to think of like a fun sort of cutesy way to tell Jordan, and I don't remember if I even came up with a plan. I may have had some sort of plan in mind, but ultimately just kind of blurted it out. And so there was no sort of like cute, like revealing to him. But also on a side note, which I think I may have mentioned, he didn't necessarily want to have another kid. He was happy with just the three of us the way it was. And it was kind of a situation where he felt like if that was something that was really important to me, he could understand my reasoning for wanting another one, as far as like how it might be beneficial to Adelaide and those sort of things. Like, he could understand that. And so like he had said, like, it's probably going to suck really bad at the beginning. Like, we just both sort of assume that all infants are impossible and difficult and no fun. And I'm hoping that we're going to be proved wrong with this next one, but I really don't know. But yeah, so he had said, like, it's probably going to suck really bad for a while, but I'm sure at some point it'll get better, and we'll be really glad we did it again. So for symptoms, so I told you already, there were a couple of days when we were in Red River that I didn't feel great, and pretty quickly I started having morning sickness. I don't remember exactly when it kicked in. I feel like it was a little bit earlier than it was with Adelaide. And it was also different. So when I was pregnant with Adelaide, I had like morning sickness. Like, I would wake up in the morning, like, it's incredibly nauseous. Like, I could throw up any minute, and I felt really, really horrible for a couple hours. But I only ever actually threw up one time. But I felt terrible. Like, I would throw up like all morning. But then once it passed, the rest of the day, as long as I kind of kept food in my stomach and would snack and stuff throughout the day, I would be fine. It would go away, and it was not a problem again until the next morning. This time, I think there were only like 2 or 3 times when I ever actually felt so sick like I might throw up. This time, I just felt really queasy and my stomach just felt uneasy like all day long. Like from the time I woke up till the time I went to sleep, I just didn't feel good. Like my stomach just felt really unsettled all day. I'd say it was probably around 13 or 14 weeks before it was really like gone. And at this point, I'm pretty sure it's gone. I don't remember now the last time I felt that way, so that's been good. Also, the same as my pregnancy with Adelaide, like from really early on, I had just like a really insatiable appetite. Like I was so hungry, like so often, which is weird with feeling sick. Like I did feel sick and queasy, but I still wanted to eat, and eating didn't affect it at all, so that was fine. And it was the same with Adelaide. I would get hungry way more often than normal, and I did start putting on weight like really fast, just like I did with Adelaide. So like in the first trimester, I think I gained like probably 8 pounds this time in the first trimester, and now the last few weeks I haven't been gaining as much, and I'm not feeling as hungry. So I don't know why that is, but both pregnancies, my first trimester, I was just really hungry. I don't know if it's like my body trying to like jumpstart things or whatever, but yeah, I was really hungry. And that's also gone away. I'm pretty much back to normal now. I don't feel like I need snacks and stuff like I did. Also, so another thing that was different this pregnancy than with Adelaide is that this time, the first trimester, and maybe even still, has really been way more about aversions than cravings. So when I was pregnant with Adelaide, I really don't remember having any like really specific or strong aversions. It was more just certain things sounded good. I had specific cravings when I was pregnant with her. I craved oranges, which I normally don't really like. I craved raspberries and enchiladas. There were a few other things, but throughout my pregnancy with her, I definitely had a lot of cravings. This time, it's been all about, like I said, all about aversions. It started when we were in Red River with the aversion to Cokes, which lasted for a while. It's now flip-flopped, and now I crave Cokes, which is a bummer because I can't have them very often. So that sort of stinks because I really want Cokes like all the time, and I can't have them. But also this weird, really weird aversion thing that would happen would be that I would eat something for lunch or dinner one day that either I really wanted, was craving and sounded really good, or just something that I ate and it was just really good. And the next day, like the thought of eating that again was just like repulsive. I don't know, I don't think it's really happening as much now. It was really, really bad and really pronounced though at the beginning, like probably the whole first trimester and even past a little bit. But I think maybe now it's kind of calmed down. And is any other symptoms? I think that's pretty much it for the symptoms. How we did find out the gender already. So when I was pregnant with Adelaide, we weren't able to find out until the sonogram that I did at like, I think it was about 18 weeks. It's around that time when everybody does one, or most people do the one. And that's when we found out about Adelaide, and we did a gender reveal, found out she was a girl. This time, we were able to do a blood test at 10 weeks. So there's a blood test that you can take that checks for chromosome abnormalities, and they can also detect the gender. So that's at 10 weeks. So when I was pregnant with Adelaide a few years ago, that test was only available in high-risk pregnancy. So people who, like, based on their age or like a family history of those kinds of problems, those are the people who had access to it. It wasn't offered to me. This time it was, and I still don't meet any of those criteria. It's just become a more available test, and I do know a lot of people are doing it now to find out the gender really early. And we did a party. I think I found out the gender on a Tuesday, and we did a party just with our family the following Saturday. And I will try to insert a clip here of the gender reveal party. 2, 3. All right!
Doesn't work. Where did you get those Jordans?
And so we're having a boy, and I was really, really excited. I convinced myself, like, no, there's no way it's going to be a boy. Like, that would be like too lucky for us to get a boy and a girl. Like it'll be another girl. And I was actually totally fine with that. I have loved having a girl, and I would totally love to have another girl. But like given the choice, I would have chosen a boy just because why not? You know, best of both worlds. Adelaide really wanted a girl. So I felt very torn. Like there was part of me that wanted a boy for myself and for Jordan, even though he didn't like say he had any preference either way. I kind of wanted a boy for him just because I feel like it's kind of natural for women to want girls and men to want boys. So I kind of wanted that for him, but then there was part of me that wanted a girl for her. And I blogged about this, so if you read my blog, you've already read about this. But when we found out it was a boy, it was the craziest, most torn sensation I think I've ever felt in my life. Like half of me was ecstatic because I got what I had hoped for, and the other half of me was just like crushed, like on Adelaide, like for Adelaide. Sorry, I will try to contain myself. I don't know why I'm getting so emotional about it, but I just wanted so badly for her to have a sister because that's what she said she wanted, even though I realized she's only 3. And I mean, as far as like boys and girls go, like she doesn't know that much about, I mean, a boy versus a girl or a brother versus a sister, but she just wanted a sister, and she loves playing with other little girls so much that I wanted that for her so bad, and I felt really guilty. Here I go again. I felt really guilty for like not giving her what she wanted, as if I have any control over that, or as if the fact that I wanted a boy influenced it. It didn't, and I know that. But I did. I felt really guilty about it, and obviously I still do. There was also a moment when I myself felt like, oh my God, what was I thinking wanting a boy? I know nothing about boys. Like, what the heck am I going to do with a boy, you know? And just felt really overwhelmed by that whole idea. But ultimately, I really am glad. I really do feel like it is the best of both worlds. Like we get to experience both sides of it. And we are supposed to go do our next ultrasound, like just in a couple of weeks, like the end of this month or beginning of next month. I still have to I need to figure out time to schedule it and everything. But that's going to be coming up soon, and I cannot wait. I'm so excited. The last time I saw the baby was at 9 weeks, and it was just like Jordan had said it looked like a mouse. Like, you know, like, yeah, it did. It kind of looked like a mouse. So I'm so excited to be able to see him like actually looking like a baby. And I think we're going to take Adelaide with us. She watched an episode or whatever of the Saucony Jolies when Anna went for an ultrasound not that long ago, and she could see like the ultrasound in the video, and she's like obsessed with it. She's asking constantly, can we watch the one with you can see the baby in her tummy? So I really want to take her with us. I think that she will just get a kick out of it, and it may even kind of help her kind of get the whole idea a little bit better. We'll see if we're able to. Hopefully we will. So I think that that's all I have for the first trimester recap. I'll show you what my stomach looks like. I think I'm actually getting to the point where I kind of look pregnant versus just like I gained some weight. I think it might still be a little bit ambiguous. Well, I think that's everything I have to say. I know this was like super rambly, and I know I've talked for a really long time, but if you watched, thank you, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm not really sure what I'm going to do as far as pregnancy updates, but I feel like I'll probably do at least, I'll maybe try to do at least a couple more. So let me know if you liked it, or if you'd like to hear anything else from me about the pregnancy. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.